Yeah, thank you so much. From the milk analyzers to farming smart. So I'm going to present the innovation that is the EzyAgric digital platform. I will explain what we did with this innovation, and I hope we can have that discussion at the end of the day. So as part of the background, you will appreciate that the digital innovations actually have a lot of potential to address bottlenecks in agricultural value chain. Actually, when the commissioner was opening this meeting, he talked about the digital innovations being a missing link in agriculture. We are still doing things in a traditional way, and it's time that we have innovations that move towards smart farming, doing things in a better way, in an improved way. So there's a lot of potential from digital innovations to address the challenges in agricultural value chains, especially in our system in Uganda, where we have issues of the reach of extension, we have issues of access to services like agri-inputs, and digital innovations can actually come in to fill that gap. So this innovation came out of that realization. And we specifically looked at innovations that can help in addressing issues to do with value chain finance, but also agri-logistics or logistics in the agricultural value chain. We did a scoping study, as I will explain later, but one of the things that we realized is that for these innovations to be adopted at scale, we found some challenges that were actually standing in the way of adopting these innovations at scale as part of the scoping study. And one of the things that we realized was that while these innovations were out there, farmers were not actually using them. And one of the reasons was that farmers did not actually know, they were not even aware of what these innovations are, what they can do with them, but also there were a lot of trust issues with regard to, using these digital innovations. So what we did is we partnered with the EzyAgric. I will explain how we zeroed on EzyAgric. And we just decided to pilot digital literacy to try and understand if farmers were aware of these innovations and what they can achieve through these innovations, would that actually increase their uptake? And so that we can see if this could be the missing link to scaling these innovations. So, as I mentioned earlier, to address the problem of limited awareness of these innovations, especially with a view to scaling, we decided to do some digital literacy trainings among the farmers. And here we focused on e-access to genuine, traceable agricultural inputs. We are all aware of the challenge of fake, counterfeit inputs on the market. And farmers, even in the dairy sector, are actually having challenges with that. So you will see that EzyAgric may have a solution even for the dairy sector when it comes to that component. But as part of the agro, we also coupled this literacy training with some agronomic training. And here we focused on the safe use and handling of agrochemicals. Again, I remember the comments from the lady from Bulambuli, the farmer, I think from a farmer organization, who also talked about, we have the inputs, but we don't even know how to use them. We don't even know the quantities in which to use them. Those are some of the things that we did as part of this training. And this training was done in such a way that we adopted what you would call the RCT, or a randomized control trial. This is where we had some, what we called a control and a treatment. This was done in the central region, in the districts of Mubende, Mityana, Nakaseke, Ruwero, and Kasanda district. It involved a baseline study that included 536 households. And from that, we randomly assigned 282 households in Nakaseke, Ruel, and Mitiana to the treatment group, and 254 households in Mubende and Kasanda districts were assigned to the control group, because we wanted to see, without the training and with the training, what would be the difference. So the treatment group is what received the digital literacy training coupled with some agronomic training. And the control, we didn't do anything. We just conducted a baseline and we didn't do anything. And we also did a follow-up study just to have some insights. The period is too short for us to do an impact assessment, but we did a follow-up study to see what is emerging. Are there some trends that we can be able to see? And these, I will share some results, very preliminary, but they give an indication. So unlike the milk analyzers where a team came together and developed an innovation, here we actually assessed innovations that were already existing. So we didn't go to now again start developing a tool when there are already tools that are existing in the agricultural value chain. So we assessed several tools that were already existing, and then we zeroed on EzyAgric by Acorion Limited. So we have EzyAgric as the designer of the innovation, and then the Alliance of Biodiversity and SEAT, and we are the implementing partners, but we are also working alongside some agro-input merchants, so the agro-input dealers, the farmers, but also the input manufacturers, the Bukolas, and all those other manufacturers of agricultural inputs. For scaling, we have also thought about who are the partners that we would need to work with very closely to scale this innovation. And we have MAIF. We worked a bit with some team from MAIF during the scoping study, but we will need them in the scaling. MAIF, NARO, farm organizations, cooperatives. We have also worked closely with the Uganda Agribusiness Alliance and also export associations. So what is it that we found interesting about the EzyAgric platform, the digital platform? EzyAgric is a web-based platform, and it connects farmers. One of its features is connecting farmers to agribusinesses to services. Currently, EzyAgric has about 400,000 farmers registered on its platform. And part of what it does, they have a mobile app that you can get on your smartphones that offers a one-stop shop for agro inputs, but also linkages to services like finance and others. But also these inputs can be delivered at the doorstep of the farmer. So there is also a logistics component that is attached to it. And currently, EzyAgric boasts of about 10,000 plus online orders annually. That is the stage at which the platform is. But as I mentioned earlier, it also has a knowledge hub where crop-specific extension information and pest and disease diagnoses can be accessed. And an average number of users that are actually accessing agronomy content. This happens if it's a time for planting, then you see more people, going to access this information. So it ranges between 8,000 to 20,000 during the off-peak and the peak seasons, respectively. So this is the EzyAgric digital platform. It bundles all those services, and I would like to play a short video for very short, about 1 minute, before I talk about this.
Here's how you can order for the most genuine agro inputs on the EzyAgric app. Step 1. Navigate to the Agri shop. Scroll through and find a variety of agro inputs. Select your category of choice. Step 2. Choose your item, select the packaging, adjust the quantity, then select Buy Now. Step 3. Confirm the items in your cart, edit the delivery address, choose your payment method, then submit your order. Your order has now been successfully submitted. Visit the Google Play Store and download the app today. EzyAgric, endless farming possibilities.
Yeah. So basically, that is one of the services that you can get on the EzyAgric platform. But in addition to that, it also has what we call the Farm Manager, where it supports farmers to plan their plots. You can even do a cost-benefit analysis with the help of this. It also has the Easy Credit component where farmers can actually access credit. We just talked about the Agri shop, but there is also a produce market that is largely used by the aggregators, you know? Yeah. So this is the one that we are using. And then there is a training guide that we developed that is available, that we've piloted, one on the safe use and handling of agrochemicals, but also one that can be used to just inform the farmers, train them so they can get to know about EzyAgric and the different services that they can access on this platform. So how did we get where we are? We started with a scoping study. When this initiative started, we didn't know which digital platforms existed in the agricultural ecosystem in Uganda. So what we did, actually the first thing that we did was just doing an online search. Who is there? And then we checked, we zeroed on around 50 digital platforms that were into value chain finance and logistics. We invited them for a workshop. And when they came for that workshop, we also we used a snowballing method where they also helped us identify other actors in the field that they are aware of. So during the scoping study, we actually visited them now just to understand what they are doing, to profile these different actors in the ecosystem. And they still kept snowballing, sending us to other actors. And we believe we captured a reasonable number of actors out there. And it is after the scoping study that we assessed these platforms that we had identified, and we used the scaling readiness criteria to try and assess, because our aim is to have an innovation that can be scaled out. So we needed to look at how do they fare when it comes to scaling readiness. So we looked some of the earlier developed scaling readiness criteria, and we assessed these innovations based on that, and that is how we zeroed on EzyAgric as one of the most promising innovations that we decided to work with. We contacted them and we were able to partner with them. Then together we came up to design the training materials, to also select the sites that we are working in. And we did the baseline as the Alliance of Biodiversity and SEAT. EzyAgric conducted the trainings using the material that we had developed, and we have done the follow-up study. So the timeline, as you see, around November 2022, that is when we did the scoping. In March, that is how we selected, that's when we selected EzyAgric, the partnership with EzyAgric, just getting to be able to work together, moved on until around September 2023. And that is when we developed together with them the materials that we used. We conducted the baseline. They have been conducting the trainings until recently, I think June last year or even, and we have just concluded a follow-up study. Actually, the data collection ended last week on Friday, but we were able to generate a few insights that we can be able to share with you here. And now we are here at the Scaling Readiness Workshop, hoping that the insights can actually help us plan ahead what else can be done beyond what we have done currently. So a bit of what is emerging. Before, EzyAgric had only 5 merchants. Maybe one thing that I didn't mention is recognizing that not all farmers have smartphones. EzyAgric also has a model where it works with the merchants, the agro input dealers, so that those can actually access the inputs on the app, and then the farmers around them can also be able to get genuine inputs from them. So in Nakaseke district, we now have around 15 merchants that are using this app to get inputs, but we also have some farmer cooperatives that have piqued interest. Okay. Then the apps market has expanded to Nakaseke, Mubende, Mityana, where they were not before. And the app now serves around 85 merchants along that route. This is one of a quotation from one of the farmers when we went to the field. And this farmer said the opportunity to order for inputs is a big step for us. And farmers here will agree. And he was specifically interested in the component of the traceability, because the input providers, the manufacturers, are attached to the farm. So you order, the inputs are picked from the manufacturer, delivered to you. And if you have any problem, there is a feedback mechanism. So that traceability component is something that the farmers really find quite interesting and useful. So I should be showing results that show the baseline, and now, unfortunately, because of the short time, we were not able to do that. But still, we can see this part. This is the control, the 2 districts that are the control, and this is the treatment. And even when I'm not showing the baseline, we can already see the differences in the figures. This was a question about whether they have heard about EzyAgric. Maybe this is expected because we trained. But we already see that about 70% of the farmers now know that there is EzyAgric where they can get the inputs. And when we asked how they got to know, because EzyAgric is a private sector, they actually do also market their app through other ways. But when we asked how they got to know, they were actually 70% of them were actually alluding to the training that was conducted as the method through which they got to know about the app. And then this we do not see yet any difference in the use, because this is behavior change. Normally you don't expect behavior change to happen in a period of a year. So we are not surprised that we don't see any difference in the use of EzyAgric yet. But there was this was quite interesting, especially when you look at the use of, this first table should be fertilizers and this should be seeds. Unfortunately, we are showing seeds altogether, but this is fertilizers. And we see that 95% of the farmers that we trained are actually using the platform to order for fertilizers, or they are going to the merchants that are registered under EzyAgric to get their fertilizers and seed. So which is already showing some positive results. The challenges, of course, we've just done this for a very short time. So we cannot say there is impact, although there are insights into what is emerging, but also that trust issue among some farmers is there, especially when it comes to the farmers buying online. There is a trust of, how do I, send my money? To whom am I sending the money? Many of them prefer at least going to the merchant, that at least they will go pay and pick, other than them ordering directly online. But also farmers appreciate that there is a challenge with using counterfeit products, but they are unaware of the potential losses of these. And this makes it a bit hard to, convince some of them of the benefits of some. So in other words, there is a lot more information that may be needed in scaling out this innovation. And then there was an issue of women, but not only women, even elderly farmers, issues of challenges with the user interface, especially when it comes to the language. Currently, the app is in English, and some of the terms like you put to the cat, they don't understand what a cat is. So some of those issues may need to be addressed when it comes to scaling. And so some of the lessons learned, there is need to broaden the training content to capture a lot of issues that will come up, of course, in our report. The report will be on KISM. So if you are on KISM, you'll be able to read the whole report. Then incentives, a bit of incentives for the farmers that are a bit hard to, the trust issues, maybe that is a package that can be thought about, but also including, because now the trainings that we conducted were only for the farmers, but there is that linkage with the merchants. And we also found that there are some issues around the merchants that may actually affect this innovation. So for scaling, the merchants should actually be involved directly, maybe in the trainings as well, to address the issues at that level, since they are part of the model of accessing this information. And of course, the gender aspect, gender mainstreaming of this. I just have a falling guy here. Ambrose, 1 minute to close the discussion.
Banange, I'm so tired. I still have to finish reading, and I need a man to bring me seeds and quality inputs.
You don't need a man now. You can get your seeds online from EzyAgric.
Hi.
Hi.
Did you order for something?
Yes, I did order for something.
For fast and reliable delivery of your farming agro inputs, download the EzyAgric app.
So you can see how the man fell directly and delivered what
Banange, I'm so tired. I still have to finish reading, and I need a man to bring me seeds and quality inputs.
You don't need a man now. You can get your seeds online from EzyAgric.
Hi.
Hi.
Did you order for something?
Yes, I did order for something.
For fast and reliable delivery of your farming agro inputs, download the EzyAgric app.
Okay, thank you. We will be taking only 2 questions, after which we'll transition to a panel, which my colleague is setting up. But also the good thing is one of the panelists is going to be one of the technical persons behind the app, so we can be able to push more questions. Somebody already spoken, or who hasn't? No, all of you have spoken. I'm just trying to be fair. But let me not force people. Maybe on this desk, you'll decide between of the 2 of you who is going to ask. You can ask. Okay. This one and then the last question.
I'm going to represent the desk. Thank you very much, the presenter, Susan, I guess. And thank you for the app. It is wonderful, and I guess it is helping. Mine is on the selection procedure of the scope. I see it is concentrated around Central. I wouldn't have asked Richard about the scope for milk quality, but northeastern, and maybe northwestern would be it would be very good. I don't know when we shall be moving up there. I see it is also good. What is good for the Uganda is also good for the geese, or something like that. Thank you.
Thank you. My brother, you spoke a bit. We have a panel session. You're going to fire directly to the technical people. I think she has not yet spoken, and so you'll. Are you not part of the panel? Okay, let's have Mama ask some questions.
Okay, thank you. Actually, mine is not like a question, but I thank the EzyAgric because I've been with them for long. Only that what I see the challenge in farmers, they have left out the component of soil testing. That's where the challenge comes. Because the farmer can just go and buy order for fertilizers, not knowing the soils, what is lacking in the soils. So they need to put that component there. And in his presentation, I not hear about the post-harvest handling, because post-harvest handling also farmers, that's where they get losses. Most especially when there is too much rain, they get losses there and they get nothing. Then for sustainability, while they are still, while they are meeting the farmers, I request they need to also to promote the VSLAs, so that there's time when they reach to buy the seeds, they find that they don't have money to purchase the seeds. So if they can put that component promoting the VSLAs, it would also better to help the farmers to purchase the seeds in time. Then also with the Agric app, it is fine. But we can see that when we all make the orders, also transport costs from Kampala to Bulambuli is also a bit a challenge. So we need let them also put there the stopping centers. Like in Eastern, they put one, Central, they put one, like that. It can ease us to assess the inputs. Thank you.
Thank you. And the colleague representing EzyAgric, you can start by answering some of these questions when you join the panel. At this point, allow me to be a bit biased and allow the commission a question. I cannot refuse. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, EzyAgric. My concern is you've shown us the number of registered farmers. That's about 400,000. But when you look at the farmers who are using the app to access the services, the figures are too low. It's not even 3%. So what happened to the other registered members? Because you said maybe they may not have smartphones, but have we tried to look at the factors which are making the registered members not use the applications? Why I'm getting worried is that we are talking of innovations in the dairy, farmers accessing information regarding the dairy value chain. And I'm worried if we don't find out why these pathologists are using this app, we may find that even for the dairy applications, probably might face the same challenges. But also, I would have loved to see something which is customized also to the livestock, because we are here to look at issues of the dairy value chain. But whatever has been presented is like skewed on the crop side. Then also, I would have loved to see that if you are designing these applications, we, as a Minister of Agriculture, we are responsible and in charge of extension services. And we have extension workers all over the country. Probably if you made the Minister of Agriculture be a stakeholder right away from designing up to implementation, probably some of these applications would be having a wider usage compared to what we are seeing now. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, the Commissioner. At this point, as Susan prepares to answer some questions, okay, we'll have another colleague answering some of these questions. I don't know if you want the panel members to start moving or after. I'll be moving around for the colleagues who use the hard copy forms. For the mentee, I'll be picking them as we have some answers to the questions. Please, let's have some answers.
Okay. Thank you so much for the questions. I'll begin with one that came from a passionate user about soil testing. Yes, I'm happy to mention that soil testing services are now available on the app. You can actually order for soil testing services, and we'll collect your samples, and we collaborate with the major laboratories, for example, Makerere University, and we'll have your soil samples tested. The other is on, maybe I'll stand up. The other is on post-harvest handling. Yes, I'm also happy to mention that in our e-extension content, we have incorporated post-harvest handling information for all the major crops that we have on our application. Then, the transport costs, how we are trying to address this is by working so closely with cooperatives and VSLA groups, just like you mentioned. This is a model that we are adopting to see to it that these costs can be lowered, most especially for our smallholder farmers. Let them order in a group, then we can be able to deliver these inputs at a very low cost. Yeah, I'll leave the others to my colleague Zila, but I would like to handle one that's related to developing something customized for dairy. Just like we mentioned before, EzyAgric strives to be that one-stop center for our farmers. Right now, if you logged in to our EzyAgric app, you will actually find information, extension content for dairy. And something I'm happy to share is that the report that you, the study that you did on quality upgrading in dairy, we have also previously done quite a good work around that area. And most of the things you did, it will be good for us to share our experiences on what we did in that line. So